Alrighty, what a day it's been. Honestly, again, a day off, maybe things come at you, but I think we should all kind of take a moment here and just realize the news that kind of came across. Well, it did come across the wire about an hour ago. Lloyd Robinson. I'm joined by Michael Gerl. Is that how you say your last name? I always want to make sure, Michael.
It's Gerl.
Gerl, yeah.
Close
So,
it up.
okay. Sounds good. At least I didn't butcher it when I said the Northern Soccer League was Northern Super League.
Nope.
Yeah, that was a miss. But anyhow, so yes, and again, it's summertime. It's kind of slow, but again, I think, and I know we have Americans on the page, and that's all good. But I don't know. I feel a part of Canada kind of died today with the passing of Lloyd Robinson.
Yeah. Um, you can't help but feel like, and I don't know if you feel like this, because I know we were talking about it before we started recording.
Hmm.
It kind of feels like, and I know like I'm never a journalist, but podcast media, it's all kind of evolved into somewhat of the same sort of profession, if you will.
Right.
But for me, when I think of Lloyd Robertson, I think of the reason why I wanted to get into this industry was to read the news, was to be part of the news, not to be the news, thankfully. Um, but Lloyd Robertson was one of those guys that when I was little, it's
Mm.
unfortunate enough to stay up at 11 p.m. because he always came on at 11.
Yeah, I
So
know.
it was mostly in the summer, gathering with my parents to watch the news, and there'd be that calming voice of reason
Right.
that would read the news. In my opinion, but a lot of what the news isn't these days.
Right.
And I'm not here to debate that tonight, but they don't make many newscasters like Lloyd Robertson anymore. And to see where this industry's gone in the last few years because of it makes me appreciate Lloyd's work more.
Yeah, definitely. Right. The Knowlton Nashes, the Peter Mansbridges,
Mm-hmm.
Lloyd Robinsons. When he retired in 2011, it was like, yes, there's again, not saying the guys that do it now. It's just different. Those were it, and now we have news at our fingertips all the time. And
Mm-hmm. And I mean,
yeah,
even like not to stray too far away, but in our industry in hockey and in football, that would be like, the Chris Comforts, the Bob Coles, those those pillars and the icons that you grew up watching. They're they're fewer and farther between.
yeah, yeah,
And
right.
and for me it was never and this is a good thing, don't get me wrong. You could see a story on the news and it would be read straight down the middle. You wouldn't exactly know on which side Lloyd Robertson was. And that's the way it is. Like you gotta be non-biased. Um, there's certain events that I'll remember Lloyd for, but boy, they don't make they don't make news anchors, unfortunately, the way they used to. And I wish it was something that this generation would be able to see and embrace more.
Hmm. Yeah, because they were our childhoods. As Lloyd's talking and they're playing it back, it's like, yeah, I was there for that. I was living in that town when that happened, and it's all those associations that kind of take place with that.
Yep.
So yeah, it's I the farewell, Omar Santagia. Again, there's my pronunciations.
Yep.
He had a pretty moving tribute at the end of the broadcast here tonight.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
He
So
goes, "Yeah, Lloyd, we're gonna miss you," and yeah, I think a lot of people looked up to him there. Avery Haynes made a post tonight about it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that forgot too. He started his career at the CBC too.
Yes, that he did, and yeah, it's interesting, kind of the journey he was on there. The kind of the back and the forth, and uh,
It's kind of that saying, right? Like from humble beginnings came famous.
hmm
And people that didn't necessarily intend to become famous just became famous and well revered for the way they conducted themselves.
well, that's exactly it, right? You fall in love with the news. He wanted to do that. He spent some time in Winnipeg as well, so
Mm,
there's a bit of a Winnipeg connection there
yep.
too. So it's interesting, and these are the guys that I need to tell my kids about, honestly, because yeah, you turn it on at 11. That's what you
You
want.
know, it's weird, Steve. Without dating myself, I'm in that kind of that right in the middle of the way it used to be versus the new school.
Yeah.
So I have a frame of reference for both.
Yes.
So that's what I kind of find interesting. I'm like kind of the old dodge, but also the new way to do media, right?
That's right. Yeah, and it's fascinating, no doubt, right?
Yep.
Well, I thought I had enough sleep. I'm not emotional or anything. But I was had to catch a yawn there. Yikes. But let's transition here. I don't think we would have. We should have started the show with Lloyd Robinson, absolutely. Uh,
Yep.
and that sort of thing that we wouldn't be do I wouldn't be doing in my job if I didn't. I'll just say that right now. But it's the bye week of the Bombers. It still doesn't make it go away. At four and
Nope.
four, I've been really thinking about this. They were 2 years ago, they were 2-6, and then they went on that run at 7-6. The West fell back. I can handle the Calgary loss, but I cannot handle the BC loss. The BC loss is just they made that guy look like Robert Griffin III in his first two games. That's what I was kept saying. We should have conversed at halftime, but I do promise to meet you at the next game, as I said. Uh, I don't know what to make of this. And when they kicked that field goal to go 19-13, I was like, they're playing not to win this game. And then we saw what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts?
I'll be careful how I say this because I don't want to sound like a homer and I'm bashing everything that's about to happen.
Right.
I was at Bowley by Mitchell's first ever CFL start in Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
You knew right then and there that I had the ability to be a star. I mean, think about it. His track record speaks for itself, whether it's Calgary, whether it's Hamilton, whatever. To me, this is just epitomized the Bombers' problems over the years of their ability to stop a scrambling quarterback from doing an immense amount of damage.
Right.
They have historically, I mean, I think about that game in Ottawa that nobody really wants to talk about, where their starter goes down and Dustin Crum comes in, gets the two touchdowns, and they win in overtime, and Crum runs from about the 10-yard line into the end zone in overtime to win. And it's referred to as the Crum back.
Yeah.
Um, that's what this kind of reminded me of. On the other side, Steve, I am very hesitant to sound the alarm bells
Hmm.
because it was a 6 point game with under 5 minutes to do. Where I think it went wrong, and I think you and I conversed about this. First quarter, third and a yard and a half. inside the 5 yard line. You elect to take the field goal there. To me, that shows me everything I need to know. But you don't trust number one this offense to get a first down.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what did it, but you have to look at the circumstances. Third and a yard and a half, first quarter, you have a somewhat decent drive going, and nothing. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think that was the drive where they got the fumble, like before that, to set that drive up. To me, third and a yard and a half, you have to go for it.
Mhm.
If you don't get it, fine.
Right.
Their first down on the 3 yard line with a rookie quarterback and the crowd ready to blow the roof off the place. I saw a very I saw a very disappointed crowd.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. But they didn't go for it. That was kind of, ooh, really? They're not going to go for it. And that was, to be honest, my initial reaction. And then fourth quarter, it happens again. Third and a yard and a half. Pretty decent chance that you might not get the ball back. Given the time left, the way your defense is playing, you don't. And you go up, I think it was five at the time, 1915, something like that.
1913.
Yeah, sorry, 1913. And then it's the drive after that really, really disappoints me. You got the building jumping because you got the lead,
Yeah.
and then your defense comes up. And to be fair to BC, they did nothing special on that drive. It was simple handoff right through the heart of the Winnipeg defense, right into the end zone a little bit easy. Okay, you know what? I can stomach that. You're down 20-19. Offense just a three and out. Boy, that's not good. Granted, Drew Brown gets hurt, whatever. Disma not in the necessary best spot. It's the two drives after that deeply concern me. The little to no effort on the tackling. Xander Horvath ended up with 200 rushing yards, about 125 of which on those last two drives. Granted, you're probably tired. Granted, you're probably trying to do too much. But that to me, Steve, leaves a very sour taste in my mouth. Not the first, 55 minutes of the game, but the way those last 5 minutes were played. And it was like Drew Brown went out, all the air went out of the balloon. Disma couldn't put a drive together. The next drive, I think, is a loss to start the drive of three, and then he got the pass knocked down. I might have the sequence a little bit wrong, but nonetheless, I don't think he was anywhere near confident enough to engineer a game-winning drive. So, whose whose fault is that? I talked to somebody in Hamilton, but who told me, and I quote, "Told you so" about Tommy Condell. Can't say they're wrong because Tommy Condell does not like running the ball for some reason, even though he's not the best running back in Brady Oliveira, probably top two in the entire CFL, and they don't use them.
Well, and that's what I noticed at the beginning of the game. He had like 52 yards rushing. I think it was 7 minutes in. I'm like, hey, let's keep her going. And
Mm-hmm.
this is where the fan base is getting annoyed and anxious and don't quite understand exactly what is happening. I'll go back to the game previous. They stopped them on
Yep.
third down,
Mm-hmm.
and then they throw the ball when they should have been running the ball. And now this game, they're throwing the ball, but it's all a bunch of screen passes. Yeah, there was the one
Yeah.
from Ontario Wilson. It's concerning.
It's interesting that all of a sudden the quarterback for you spent the first round pick and a conditional second round pick, and now all of a sudden the last game and a half you don't trust them.
Yep.
It's clear they don't trust him. He's not throwing anything more than 7 yards.
Well, I mean, he did have the one. Yeah, everything else is very medium, and then he had he had that one seam pass to Ontario Wilson. That yeah, and this is the crux of the matter, and it doesn't make any sense,
What do you think? What do you think of the play of the offensive line? Like, I'm not gonna finger point,
right?
but to me, it just seems like Brady doesn't have an awful lot of holes to run through.
Well, he had him at the beginning of the game versus BC,
Correct.
and he's had his opportunities, but
Hmm.
it's not the same offensive line that it was, uh, in previous years,
With the Kolonkowskis
and the
and
Dobbs,
the Gerl and those guys. Yep.
right? And so it's like, again, it all has to work in a cohesive unit, as
Hmm.
people have said. It's just, everybody, yeah, the eyes are always on the quarterback, running back, but the game's always won in the trenches. Some guy, they don't have their, again, the quarterbacks don't
They
have the
don't
time. They
have
don't
that.
have the time to throw the ball.
They're missing that bully ball mentality of okay, you know we're gonna run it.
Hmm.
Stop it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, Brady didn't run the ball. He didn't get 6 yards. You know what's gonna happen. Stop it.
Yeah.
There's not that fear factor, and I don't know. I don't know how you get to that. Maybe it's as simple as Zatalaro's coming back, but I found it absolutely ridiculous, Steve, that when Drew Brown started 2-0, there were those out there that said, hey, Winnipeg's not a quarterback controversy. Winnipeg's not a quarterback controversy. I'm not so sure anymore.
Well, let's be honest. If with its new CFL rules don't take in effect, they tie that game in Ottawa. They don't win it.
Mm-hmm.
There was opportunities where Ottawa should have picked off Brown.
Yeah,
Again, those plays weren't made, but it is what it is.
but again, you're 4-4. You're kind of in the mushy middle. Now you could debate how you got there, right?
Well, the concerning thing is you've lost a bunch of games at home. The
I mean,
most
what are they now?
losses is
1-3 at home, 1-4 at home,
one and four at home, and technically the game they won was an away, but whatever.
and now you're 3-0 on the road.
So right. So you beat Ottawa, you beat Hamilton by a point. You would have lost that game if Bo Levi Mitchell was in there.
Yeah,
Right. And it's just they give up the 106-yard drive to
yeah.
Gary. They go back, they kick the game-winning field goal, win by two.
Do do you
This team's all over the map.
do you subscribe to the theory that if Drew Brown finishes that game, the Bombers walked it off?
I
That
don't
I
because
that I
they weren't
don't.
trusting him. They weren't trusting him to make the plays.
I don't like. I don't think it's as simple to say if I. And I read this on the way home from the game that hey, if Drew Brown stays in the game, he probably walked it off. I'm not there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I want to believe that, but I don't think it's as simple as Drew Brown stays in the team may win.
No. And the thing is let's face it, Drew Brown, he came in a couple years ago when Claris got hurt and beat
Mm,
Edmonton. They called it the brownout. I think that's what the guys on Bonfire were talking.
yeah,
And then okay, sure. And then he gets the starter money in Ottawa. Dinwiddie comes over. You're not our guy. A lot of people aren't Dinwiddie's guys. Uh,
just ask Gino Lewis.
Juice Lewis. Okay, that's fine. It's just again, I think he's a better option than Taylor at this point. But like for all the fans to put their eggs in the basket, and what was kind of more disturbing to me is when Taylor came in, people were cheering more for him than for Brown. I like, yeah,
Yeah,
that irks me too. But that's on my side of the
I.
fence.
It's just my personal feeling, and I don't want this to sound like I'm coming after Tommy Condell.
Hmm.
because you said all this success over the years was that Caleros. To me, they're not putting whoever their quarterback is. I don't care who it is.
Right.
Not names that Caleros. It could be Taylor, could be Drew. Both kind of fit into the scenario. I don't think they put them in the best position to be successful.
Just with the play calling.
Just in general. Just in general. Like you look at that, and what sits out to me is that first drive that Odisma came in, first play of that drive was the throw, but wound up being a big sack because he had no time to set his feet and throw.
That's right. And then they were second and 18 or something like that.
Second and 18, and then you're like in guaranteed throw position.
Right.
Well, like you have Brady Oliveira, let the guy settle in. His heart rate is probably going a million miles a minute.
Yeah.
And it's very clear that he hadn't had any practice reps. Now, it was brought up to my attention, and this is 100% accurate because I ended up checking it myself. Leading up to the last two Bomber games, they've had a combined three practices. To, they
How's
this
that
is
possible
well, just the way the schedule was. They played the Sunday game in Ottawa, then came home and played on the Thursday.
on
So
the
they had
Friday?
so they had the one practice on the Tuesday with the walkthrough on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then Thursday, then they played the game on Thursday, had 6 days. They canceled the one day of practice, and they practiced on what I'm pretty sure was the Tuesday and the Wednesday, with the Thursday walkthrough and the game Friday. That's
Yep.
three practices.
Yep.
Now I'm not saying okay, well, practice is the same as a game because it's not, but there's something to this, and I'm wondering if a lot of practices also contributes to a team that seems to be in a fair bit of transition.
Yeah, and we've seen this transition. We thought 2024 was the transition year.
Mm-hmm.
2025, they weren't making the adjustments. And if you thought the Grey Cup was in Winnipeg this year, based on the offseason they had, you would think the
Yeah,
Grey Cup was in Winnipeg this year. But anyhow, you thought they would plug these holes with,
yeah,
Williams, with Jonathan Moxey, number 94 there on the line. He's
yeah. The other thing though is
he's
like
been great.
the CFL's turned to such an offensive lead. But I don't know how you can play defense in this league. But I don't know which game it was. It was the Edmonton game. They had a chance against Saskatchewan. I don't know if you saw this.
I
And
was
they took
watching most
those,
of it.
they took those two penalties on the last drive. One was the hit to the quarterback, the other one was the embellishment that got him kicked out. To me, that hit to the quarterback was like I could have seen that call. Could have been okay if they let it go.
Right.
I'm not gonna turn this into an officiating thing either because it's such a really hard job. But in a league that's hard enough to play defense in already, it just seems to be even harder because now you can't touch the receiver after 5 yards because it's illegal contact on a receiver. You can't play defense properly because you turn the guy around and a hand fight turns more times than not into a advantage with the receiver over the DB. And it's like you just some DBs playing scared.
Right.
But the field position after a missed field goal, 40-yard line, after a kicker goes out of bounds, 40-yard line. Like these kickers, you only need to get 25 yards, basically, and you're in field goal range.
Well, that's the thing, right? And that's where that shift's been. Um, Again, speaking of kickers, we can go back to the Calgary game. I kind of question O'Shea's decision there to kick that one long field goal when it was returned for the touchdown. I thought they should have pinned them deep, but you know,
Again, you outkick your coverage. You have a kicker that I'm pretty sure is middle of the pack. in field goal percentage.
Hmm.
Granted, he probably hits the most field goals from beyond 45 yards of any kicker in the league. So
Right.
bear that stat in mind when looking at that number. Um, Again, I didn't come prepared with numbers, but what I know of is that Sergio Castillo is constantly hitting longer field goals than that of some of his counterparts.
Right.
And that was just poor coverage and poor execution on the kid. I'm with you. I wouldn't have hit the field goal there, but his track record suggests okay, field goal might be the right move because of Sergio's leg. I just wonder too, and I'm not here to make excuses, but the Bombers in their heyday, the last number of years, whether it's 2021, 2022, the years where they were really good,
Hmm.
they had an offense that under Buck Pierce was able to overcome their mistakes and still win quite significantly. Not as a team, but I would suggest it's depending on the game, maybe a below average offense. When you can combine the mistakes, the missed field goals, the turnovers, the four interception game
Right.
could be thrown in there as well. Your margin for errors is much slimmer than it used to be.
Yeah.
So I think you need to coach differently in that regard. And I think it was after the last game, not this game, after the bye. Michael Shea said something to the effect of, "We're still learning how to play the game." Granted, okay, but you have to put your team, in my mind, in better positions to be successful. Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams. Like that Calgary game where they were down 22-6 or whatever it was after the missed field goal return.
Hmm.
That's not complimentary football, offense, defense, special teams. That's what I think is frustrating Bomber fans, and it's frustrating me. Is that we have a really good offense, defense gets the turnover, offense capitalizes, special teams. Special teams to me, Steve, has been one of the bright spots. Take away some of the field goal kicking, which is from, an immense distance compared to some others. But Trey Vavel flipped the field on multiple occasions.
Yes, that he
You know,
has.
you could argue they don't win that Toronto game without the Vavel missed field goal return,
Yep.
right? So,
It's a 9 point game. So,
so it's just they're consistently inconsistent, and multiple phases of the football team are being inconsistent at the same time.
yeah.
The offense really has it and puts up 40 points. Oh, but you win 42-38 or 36-34. Defense is inconsistent. Offense turns the ball over, a couple times deep in territory. Defense has a short field to work with and can't do anything. To me, they're not complementing each other.
Well, and the thing is, they come out of the bye,
Mm-hmm,
that Edmonton game. I couldn't believe the stuff you're seeing. You're seeing guys jumping over, fumbling the ball.
mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is nuts, and this is so uncharacteristic. And again, I go
It,
by and I made the post.
yeah.
Well, it's okay to fire somebody, but who do you replace them with? So people want O'Shea
Well,
fired. Well, okay, well, who's going to come in?
you
Tell me.
you might as well equate what you just said to the local hockey team. There's a lot of people here that want the general manager fired. There's a lot of people here that want the coach fired. The part that nobody or too few people are talking about is who replaces these individuals.
That's
And
exactly it.
okay, if you want Jordan Younger fired, okay, you could make the case Richie Hall comes back in. But
Hmm.
is that going to change the way this roster is fundamentally built?
No. And
You
people
fire
can't,
Tommy Condell, okay. Who do you replace him with? Jason Hogan. Oh wow, how did that go last year?
it didn't.
You're gonna fire Michael Shea, okay? Jordan Younger coming the head coach. Probably not. Tommy Tondell, head coach? Probably not.
Right. And they, or you can bring Paul Police back from TSN. I think he likes his job at TSN. I've heard.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, and again, we're in that generation of Bomber fan where the 25-year-old doesn't understand what the Ryan Bowl era was, right?
Exactly what I'm thinking. Like the same as what I was saying earlier about the media. I'm old enough to remember the quote unquote good old days, last the golden generation
Hmm.
versus what we have now.
Right.
This is nothing compared to what I grew up with in the bomber era of, to be completely honest, the Joe Matt era, which consumed my teenage years of rage and frustration, to a new generation of bomber fans, maybe your kids as an example, who aren't necessarily coming to bomber games away from bomber games having lost, right?
Right. And this is the first this is the most losses the team's had in 10 years. My son wasn't even born 10 years ago. So you take
But
all that and yeah, they still have a good time, but I'm like I remember sitting in the stands after last game. I'm like, what am I watching here? What are my kids watching? This isn't good.
right. I mean,
Um,
I can
yeah,
remember, Steve, 52 nothing or whatever it was, 52 nothing on Labor Day. like
right. In 2012. Um,
like that to me was the lowest of low. Um, which I believe ultimately was, believe that was the first game in the Tim Burt era as
it
well.
was. It was.
Um, so I don't know. I'm okay where the Bombers are at 4-4. Um, and I want to see what they do when Zach Talos comes back.
Do you
Now
think he comes back
that's
after the bye?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Like, dude, there's a lot of shitty, woody, couldy. I mean, there's a lot of, if there's ever a game, no disrespect to Ottawa, to put him in coming off of a bye to get some confidence, it's that game.
Hmm.
But I'm also looking at, like, all hope is not lost. Like I was explaining to somebody the other day, like Edmonton has 2 or 3 games left with Calgary. We have 2 games left with Saskatchewan. Like, this thing is wide open still at 4-4. We're not having this conversation about like 0-7 Ottawa, clearly in jeopardy of, if having not been eliminated, already going to be eliminated in the next few weeks. We have Hamilton, who suddenly can't seem to find a quarterback of some consistency. Like, to me, the crossover is right there for the taking. And
Mm.
I know people are gonna hate this, but like, it's the CFL to me. Like, just get in, get hot. Remember what happened in 2019?
Yeah, the wheels were coming off.
The
And
wheels were coming off. We got a quarterback. We got into third place. We went into Calgary, went into Saskatchewan, came back to Calgary,
yeah.
and the rest is history.
Yeah, the greatest football run of my life, honestly.
I remember
I
that.
was there.
No,
You were in Calgary. I was in Regina for the game before.
I vividly remember, not to get too far off the beaten track here. Vividly remember 2019. The game in Calgary in particular, Stravler turning that into a racetrack in the second quarter. And then it was the Cody Fajardo doink off the end zone pipe
Mhm.
to send us to the Grey Cup and being happy. And then it was the turnovers. Hamilton and Andrew Harris running for all those yards, and a young guy by the name of Rasheed Bailey getting big touchdowns. Um,
That one was called bad, I tell you.
yeah, I think it was, but anyway, he had a big uh playoff run with just T touches and T blocks.
For sure.
The bottom line, Steve, is I don't think everything is lost just yet. I think if you come back from a bye and you lose to Ottawa, well, you got Montreal at your back door.
You got Edmonton between that. So,
Yeah, so I think the schedule coming out of bye is home to Ottawa, at Edmonton, home to Montreal,
um,
and then to Saskatchewan back to back. Like
right.
CFL is such a long season. I mean, the Montreal Alouettes look like they're going to be home and cool, clinching first place in the East by Labor Day. Like, to me, it's just you play the game the way you play the game, and the Bombers are a better road team, I think, this year than home team for whatever reason. I don't know. It's just one of those funny things that is about sports that does not make a lot of sense.
No, it sure doesn't. And I think that's where a lot of baller fans are just trying to figure this team out. Like this is crazy.
Like,
Because
what are you?
in years past, it was yeah, they would clamp that door, they would shut it down. And now it's just like running wild.
So, would you subscribe to the theory that there might be an identity crisis, or
Like
or
on the
is
defense or the offense.
all over?
Yeah, I actually don't know if this team knows what they are. I thought they would be okay. I thought with the additions, they would be fine.
Like, what runs in
Something,
my
something,
head, Steve, is the comments after the second last game from Brady Oliveira. Like, what are we on offense?
right.
But honestly, I can't say that he's wrong.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is, like, and I know Shay kind of alluded to this. I'm not sure if it was the last game going into the bye here or the one before. He was asked something to the effect of the crowd support and how he said they're very knowledgeable. They know what to do when. I think you need to be very careful that your fan base doesn't necessarily become smarter than your coaches, right? And I think that's a fine line that you have to walk.
Yep.
But then again, the Bombers are 8-0. You and I are coming on this show with nothing really interesting to talk about, right? Oh, all was fine and dandy in Winnipeg, right? Like,
Well, because yeah, if you look at it, right, the Edmonton game, if they score on that final drive,
yeah.
they win that one.
I mean that.
They could have beat BC and they
Yeah.
could have beat Calgary. They could have.
Mm-hmm.
I will suggest all those things.
And I think that's the frustrating part for fan base is it's right there,
Yeah.
but then again, it seems so far.
Yeah, because you're paying Brady $300,000 a year to do what? I don't usually look at the boards, but I'm like,
Yeah.
boy, those yardage are going up. Things are going well. And then
The
you
worst
deviate.
the worst you can do is look at the message boards after a game, whether it's a Jets game or a Bomber game. Uh,
Yes.
if you want your dose of overreaction, whatever day of the week it is,
Hmm.
just watch your team's latest game.
I try to make the post before I hit the car. I get in the car, and then I get home and I look. Okay, well this is entertaining, and then I.
And
But
then the worst part is you probably go back a week and you're like, why did I say that?
yes. Well, I'll tell you, this loss bothered me so much. I think I only slept 4 hours on Thursday. I was
Yeah.
I was up to about 2.
Yeah, I was bothered by it, but I wasn't. I was bothered by it, but again, I wouldn't let it consume me.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of racetrack ahead of this football team yet. And hey, if you go 6-3 down the stretch in the last 9 games going into the playoffs,
Hmm.
like let's say they go 6-3, 7-3 down the stretch, you're looking at a 11-7 season. That hey, I mean a lot of people would take that.
And that's in 2019 they were 11-7, right? So
So, but again, that's fans are entitled to say whatever they want to say.
well,
And you know what? I can say what I want to say because I, like you, sit at the home games in the stands, and that's what I'm presented right in front of me.
right. I'm getting in my car. I'm picking up one of my kids' friends, or this last game, I took my father-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
We all make this effort to get to that stadium.
Mm-hmm.
We get off work early,
Mm-hmm.
um, to do this and to
Mm-hmm.
see this. And when it's
Mm-hmm.
not reciprocated,
Yeah.
again, that becomes so aggravating. I met somebody actually who sits in my row.
Yep.
I saw her in Gimli on Sunday. They come all the way from Gimli. I didn't know that till last
Yeah.
like that's a trek, right? And I'm sure there's people that come for even further.
Did you hang out with the Vikings this weekend or what?
Yes, it was fun. Yeah, it was great. Good fish and chips in Gimli, gotta say.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I love it. I just find it festival. Didn't get out this year, but
Okay.
it's a favorite of mine.
Yeah, it definitely brought back some memories personally. I counseled at the camp there 25 years ago. So
But I think that's the interesting part about being a sports fan is you can never get too high, you can never get too low.
yeah, like I remember in 2011, the Bombers were off to their best start since '84, and we all knew what happened.
And how did that end up in the second half of the year?
Not good. I mean, it was after they lost the Banjo Bowl, everybody thought they would never win a game, and then they won that
Right.
game in Montreal, and
Uh-huh.
then the wheels still kind of kept coming off. Um, and so yeah, again, it's all about how you finish, but it's like I look at the record, there should be two, three more wins, and that is the most frustrating thing.
Would you say, okay, this leads me to another question and trying not to get too far off the beaten track, but do you think that team was better in 2019 than the record showed?
Do I think? I think they were maybe two wins better.
Right, 11-7 would then become 13-5, and you get a home playoff game out of that.
Right.
At minimum, you get the West Semi at home.
Right. But then the Bombers finished third first team since the 2005 Edmonton team
Right,
to win the Grey Cup.
right.
I remember when they were 7-2 on the post game, and Bob Irving goes because people were still complaining about the play calling.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Am I missing something? This team is 7-2." And I think it had to do with the usage of Harris, sounds familiar,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And it's like, boy, what was old again is new again. Uh, and again, this is the frustrating thing with the fan base. Again, CFL, as long as you get in, you get in.
Mm-hmm.
11 wins, 12 wins. I mean, crossing over, no West team has ever represented the East in the Grey Cup.
I honestly don't take this the wrong way. The only team that scares me out east right now is Montreal.
Yeah.
But is that any different than Edmonton and Saskatchewan right now?
I mean, I think Edmonton is exceeding expectations. Saskatchewan, they're kind of reliving from what they did last year. I mean, they've lost Tommy Neal; he's here, and
Mm-hmm.
they
The
went,
team that
yeah,
nobody's talking about, in my opinion, but we should all be talking about, Calgary Stampeders.
100%, 44 points on the weekend. Are you kidding me?
They are not getting the respect that they deserve.
No, no, they are not. No,
That to me, I think they're the second best team in the West right now. I think you could flip flop Edmonton and Calgary. I think where they should be record wise. I made the comment on a message board this week that Labor Day and the rematches are going to be very interesting. Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, Calgary, Edmonton. Like I just think, and again, like Edmonton, well deserved for their record,
Right.
but I trust Calgary from a sustainability aspect. And VA threw his first interception on the weekend, which is just unbelievable. But that's a defense to me that scares the you know what out of me.
Right.
And McAllister is ready to be a star any day of the week here. Um, but no, I don't think the Stamps are getting enough credit. And I truly believe that right now the Bombers are the fourth best team in the West.
Yep.
And then it's what does BC do when Rourke comes back?
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't heard a timeline of when he's going to be coming back.
Yeah, he took the reps with the ones today, so he's an option for this weekend.
I see. Okay. Yeah, it's a long road to climb out of that West. What my concern is the number of home losses the Bombers have
Mm-hmm.
had already. So that's
But by
that's my
that same
concern.
token, though, they've won a lot of games on the road. That's like if you're doing what you did on the road at if you're doing what you're doing at home on the road,
Right.
and this team has 2 wins,
Yeah.
and you're 2-4, or you're 2-6.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're having a different discussion.
Yes, we are.
But again, I do not get too low, do not get too high.
Hmm.
We were 4-4, nearing the halfway point of an odyssey that is 18 games. And if this team, and I fully expect them to be 5-4 in the first half, then the first half against Ottawa, and then you get fully healthy, you get revved and ready to go. Edmonton, Montreal, Saskatchewan, Saskatchewan. Bring it on. Bring it on. And yeah, I don't know.
No, I
Maybe people are here and I'm just, oh, it's not a big deal. I just love football, blah, blah, blah. No, I truly believe this team will be the best version of themselves when it really matters.
yeah,
Uh,
I like that perspective because I've been hearing a lot of kind of at the cliff. The wheels are falling off, so to speak. I'm paraphrasing, but
mhm.
it is a good perspective because again, if you're not doing what you're doing on the road, yeah, you are 2-6, maybe even worse, but you are what you are. I just again,
it,
when we're a knowledgeable fan base and when the coaches say you're a
it's
knowledgeable, you
all
believe it.
noise.
Yeah.
It's all noise. And Michael Shea is telling the guys, you tune that noise out.
Hmm.
You know what you're capable of. And I don't want to, tie this to ball hockey, but like we went to nationals 2020. I didn't go this year, last year. It's 3 years ago now. Edmonton, our team was not expected to do very much. We had a lot of noise for different individuals that thought our team shouldn't be going to nationals. We didn't have a team on paper. And I vividly remember saying to the guys before the first game, I said, we are here. I said, you have to tune that noise out, take advantage of the opportunity in front of you. Now, I'm paraphrasing today. I don't remember exactly what I said, but something to that effect. And we won our first game. Big step for the program because we had gone the year before, didn't win a game. And on the Saturday of the tournament, we're playing for bronze, and we win a bronze medal. And a lot of people thought we would. And the moral of my story is coaches tell players to block out noise. And it's for that person in front of you in the locker room. Look at your stallmate across and say, am I going to put my best foot forward for that guy.
Yeah,
And is he going to do the same for me? And I think that's where you find out exactly what this team is made of. And that's why I find the Kevin Gossman comment about this team isn't as close as they were last year,
I heard that.
this year.
Yeah.
That to me was a bigger telltale comment than what it was made out to be. But again, it's you gotta keep expectations within your dressing room and within yourself, and you're not gonna let negativity creep in.
Right.
The Bombers are telling themselves, yes, we're a good football team. We have the DNA to be able to do this. The question is my guy beside me, behind me, is my defense when I'm on the sideline? Did it feel the same way? Because listen, when nobody doubts you, when everybody doubts you, that's where you find out what you're really made of. And I think this is a very, very defining game coming out of the bye. I'm
Oh,
looking
yeah.
at a team in Ottawa that's on paper not very good, that is having a lot of internal issues. You gotta go, you gotta win that game.
Yeah, if they don't win that game, if the Bombers don't win that game on the 14th, the pitchforks will be out. There is no question.
But again, I don't if they lose that game, and I say if, I just don't know what you do. Because
What?
these replacements don't grow on trees.
No, exactly. Like,
And
but
you're not cutting in Ontario Wilson, I'm sorry to say.
yeah, no, you that would be ridiculous.
And
I
you're not cutting Willie Jefferson to try to
no,
send them.
but you may cut you may cut a Nichols. Who knows?
Well, that could be debated till the cows come home.
Yeah, yes, it could. You gotta again. We just speculate. We don't.
We
Uh,
don't,
I don't
and
have all the
then we
pieces in
go
there.
back to what we were talking about earlier. When the news breaks, we talk about it.
That's right. We
But
try we try to hit the news yeah when it breaks you
but
make sure
but
we cover.
I think the other thing is like you gotta keep it in perspective. Like it's a 18 game season, just like NHL team is like the 82 game or now 84 game season.
Hmm.
You didn't have your ups and downs.
Yeah.
Okay, could you have foreseen 4-4 at the beginning of the season? Probably, but probably just not in the way they envisioned it into 4-4.
Right, it's not the best body at work, and I think that's what has a lot of Bomber fans upset. You make
But
the
I also
change
think
out.
that's a unique opportunity, right? Because if you're 7-1, I think you become more lackadaisical with nothing to work on, and
Right.
you get this false sense of security.
Yeah, and we've seen that with the Bombers even going back 25 years ago with the 14-4 Bombers. There was a bit of, I would say, complacency that took place there.
And then you went into the Grey Cup 8-10 Calgary after having a chance to eliminate them,
Mhm.
and they
I know,
wind
and
up.
you bring that up, and it's still like it's as haunting as the home run in the bottom of the ninth. I mean, it's just these things, and it's but again, this is the frustration is that you
Yep.
replaced an offensive coordinator,
Hmm.
get it right. Prior to that, Buck Pierce, okay, the two quarterback system, and then it wasn't used. Okay, Hogan comes in, he's Brady's guy, and it's the tickle trunk is still on Mr. Dress upset and trying to trying to open it.
I love that analogy. I
I mean,
just
I'm tired. Like again, I have to be very careful what I say now because people do know who I am. Uh,
well,
it's
no, and I say this, and I'm laughing because Steve, I know who you are as the person.
hmm
I understand that reference 100%. But yeah, I know I should understand why that just a little misconstrued. Um, but no, that's. No, I like that analogy for sure. Um, Real quick, what do you think of the Blue Jays?
Yeah. Again, I mean, Gosman, we thought he would be gone, going to the Cubs. And I'm like, oh, they're going to face him on Thursday, but that's because the Father's Day game was rained out.
Hmm.
Again, it's always about getting younger, right? And again, nothing to be ashamed of there. Varsho, I was surprised he went to Houston. So,
I like what they got back for him.
mhm,
But then I think this was a clear. If we're not sure but you're going to be back next year, we're going to move you.
yeah, that's right.
Like to me, George, Matt, that be George Springer, Matt Scherzer. Those are cornerstone guys, but you had to keep
Yeah.
Scherzer to bring the pitching staff along. And his last start a couple of days ago, when was it? Last night actually was pretty good. Um, Trey Savage left the game tonight with knee discomfort, which isn't
Okay. I wasn't watching.
exactly comfortable, but then his replacement came in and gave up a 3-run homer. A couple innings later, and a 3-2 game turns to 7-2, and that's how it goes.
Hmm.
Um, but no, I think with the Blue Jays, they did that right. They kind of did the right thing. Like they replaced Soriano, or Gossman with Soriano, who is sort of a very good version of Dylan Cease. So I think if you build your rotation for years to come with Dylan Cease, Soriano, Trey Savage, that's a pretty good 1, 2, 3. And then you factor in a couple other young starters. Whether that be a blast down the line. Um, that's a pretty serviceable scenario. I spoke to somebody who would be in the know in Major League Baseball,
Hmm.
and they said that the Jays did a pretty good job with what they got at the trade deadline. They were especially impressed with what they got for Jeff Hoffman from Minnesota. One of their pitchers they got is a left-handed flamethrower, as it was described to me. So if you can add that to the back of your bullpen, and there's a pretty darn good pitcher that the Blue Jays got last year at the deadline from Minnesota, as I recall, who is 23 out of 23 in save opportunities.
Hmm.
So I think if you're gonna make a run with this group, yes, it's been disappointing, but they sold off what they could sell off to the best that they could, replenish the stock system. A lot of the guys at the 2022 or 2023 trade deadline, pretty big impacts right now. Um, I know they're high on their first round pick from this last year, the left handed starting pitcher who a lot of people seem to think could be the first player from this draft class to play in the major leagues. I think Ross Atkins doesn't get a lot of credit for what he does. His eye for talent, in my opinion, is pretty good. Yeah, you can argue the contact and you know forcing pitches and all that kind of stuff, but by and large, I think every general manager makes mistakes and miscalculations, and it's how you become a better general manager by how your team responds after a down year.
Yep.
Like to me, the only way this year to the top last year was winning the World Series.
Hmm.
And I think if they win the World Series last year, I think we're having a completely different discussion right now than this angst and agitation about not getting in the playoffs.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is I think a lot of guys played over their heads last year at the most important part of the season, and that's how they got to where they got.
Hmm.
I think to expect those career years. out of some guys another year was just too much to ask.
Yeah, because you had the Bargers, you had the Miles Straws.
I mean, Tamani had what 15 games out of some Barger. Like, who saw that coming?
Right.
And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has yet to hit a home run at home. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I know.
Like, who could have seen that coming?
Nobody.
Right? And I mean, you got really, really good stuff from Trey in the playoffs last year. That was a pleasant surprise. Ernie Clement was a pleasant surprise in the playoffs. Played very well this year for the most part. I don't listen to what the naysayers have said about his last 2 weeks. I think he's just pushing a little bit too much. I think the Jays are in an okay spot long term. To me, I think they can go out and buy a free agent to fill their roster when they need to. Um, it's just irritating to watch the Dodgers, but
Well,
that's neither here.
They lost tonight in Scribbles start, so
Yeah, their new toy wasn't exactly shiny
he struck
coming
out six.
out of the garage. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it's I would suggest this season for Jays fans has been a season of healing. Again, it's one of these things. It's just like, but again, you had the kind of these flashbacks to
yep.
okay, how this team was never over 500 is beyond me. They got to 500 and then they got
Hmm.
lost 2 out of 3 in Baltimore or whatever else. And yeah, they're 4 games
It,
out.
it
But
was weird because it all seemed to come undone when they were 500, and Hoffman had that one real bad inning. It was the ninth inning.
yeah, when they're up 5-1 and lost.
Yeah, they put him back in, and they somehow lost that team, and
Right.
and that seems to be where it all went wrong.
Exactly.
Um, in fairness to Jeff Hoffman, though, if I could just say, I think he's been an unnecessary whipping boy for unnecessary reasons. The guy has gone about it, pitched about it, had every bad story written about him online. He can't do it. He's washed, whatever. But he's continued to do it with grace and professionalism. He took the demotion out of the closer's role. Was one of the best seventh inning guys of a 1.5 or something
Yep.
ERA in June and July.
That's right.
Like that takes a lot of gumption for a guy who got demoted to still try to pitch his best, and yet everybody seems to think, oh, you're the guy that couldn't get it done in the ninth inning, or you're a half a ball being stuck in the wall away from winning the World Series, and woulda, coulda, shoulda. Is it really any different than what the Jets went through after they won the President's Trophy? Not really.
Not really. No, not at all.
So I think that's the sports. That's the interesting part about being a sports fan, right? You live for the highs, then you gotta deal with the other side. Unless you're the Kansas City Chiefs, of course.
Well,
But
down here last year, and
fair enough.
we'll see what this year. I was watching Mid NFL Network. Mahomes is looking good there in St. Joseph's. So
I don't know. Just a quick question for you, Steve. Do you buy any of this Kansas City Chiefs are gonna redress talk?
no, not with not with Eric the Enemy coming back. Hope he's doing well with his situation, by the way. Um, but I think there's a lot of pieces there. I don't see regression.
Uh,
As Kelsey regress, yes, but I don't see it as a complete drop off the cliff.
could you see a drop off from a standpoint that they don't win the division, but there's still a wild card team and get overtaken by a team like the LA Chargers?
Well, that's the thing, right? Everybody thought a few years ago that the AFC West was going to be tight.
Right.
Now,
And it wasn't.
now it actually is. I mean, the Chargers aren't going away.
The
Uh,
Broncos aren't going
aren't going
away.
away. The Chiefs were the hunted. Now maybe they are hunting others. I could see them winning the division, but I wouldn't guarantee it.
And they would, but as we've seen in history, how many times did Brady have to go on the road with those Patriot teams, win two or three road games to get to the Super Bowl
Right.
multiple times?
Yep. And Mahomes only did that well in Super Bowl 58 he went on the road, right?
Yep,
They play the Miami game at home, they go to Buffalo, they go to Baltimore,
yep.
then they go to
I just think
or
there's so many,
Vegas and win.
and I mean we're not here to talk NFL, but I mean if there was an exciting NFL season for me, this is the one with like plenty of storylines
Hmm.
coming out of a lot of places that would make me very excited.
Yeah, there's never a shortage of them in the NFL. That's
The, the news cycle of it keeps on giving.
yes, whether it's Tony Romo with his DUI and JJ Watt taking over.
I found it very odd, Jerry Jones's comment about Tony Romo.
Okay.
I'm a Cowboy fan through and through. For those that don't know,
Hmm.
I found it very odd that Jerry Jones went out and said what he said about Tony Romo.
I didn't actually hear it, and I do try to watch. That's a few times I said I've missed something. But what did he say?
Well, he basically said like he went on defending Tony Romo about what a great person he is and what a great family and what a great character man and I'm paraphrasing and like to me I thought yes I agree with your comments but they're a little misguided compared to what the rest of society is saying.
Yeah, I mean it's you know people like to drink, and that's fine. But
Like
once you get behind the wheel, you're not just endangering yourself; you're endangering.
yeah, I'll just say this: there's differences in the way his situation has been handled and Kyle Shanahan's accident. Not
Yes,
now there wasn't, to our knowledge, any alcohol or drugs in that
right,
scenario,
right.
but the two contrasting the way it was handled is completely different.
Okay, so Shanahan, from my understanding, he was searching for his phone,
Yep.
searching for it, and then
Right.
he hit the brakes, almost lost an eye.
So
Uh,
so the but what I'm trying to say is there's an accountability with him, but isn't necessarily there with Tony Romo. And as far as I'm concerned, like I can't see Tony Romo ever stepping in a broadcast booth again right now. Like I think like I'm all for second chances,
yeah,
but I just don't know how you can put him back in there
right.
in such a high profile role. But that's not for me to decide.
Well, I mean, they're the number one team and broadcasting crew with
And
him.
that's the part that gets me is you're Tony Romo. I think you're held to a higher standard
Yeah.
because of that. And I get it, standard slip, people make mistakes, but like there's a time and a place for forgiveness. But I just like I don't know how you can come back from that.
No, it's going to be interesting to see what CBS does with this. I mean, it's not like there's not a shortage of guys. I mean, we saw
Right,
with Mark
right.
Sanchez
And
with Fox. I mean, he's not stepping in a broadcasting booth anytime soon either. So,
no, but I just wonder like does this open the door that I know they put JJ Watt in there for now,
yeah.
but I wonder do you see Greg Olson going,
Well, there's been talk online with that, right? He was the number one team with Fox before Brady came over, and these guys know their stuff, so it wouldn't be like
yeah.
there would be a big drop off.
right.
I don't think anyone would be out there saying, you know what,
There's
I
something
want Romo
about
back.
there's something encyclopedia, Steve, about today, the player today coming off the field and going into a broadcast booth.
Hmm.
That is very insightful. And it was Romo when he first started.
Yeah.
Greg Olson, he's a natural. Um, Tom Brady. Yeah, I didn't like the guy the first couple of weeks, but he's kind of grown on me that way,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So former players would kind of have a knack for media.
Right.
And I know we're far off the beaten track, but that's what happens. But no, all in all, seriously though, I hope Tony Romo gets the help that he deserves. Um, there's a lot. There's a lot of consequences that individuals have to deal with that aren't even necessarily tied to his job.
Nope.
But,
No,
but
well, that's exactly it.
at this point it's about his life and his family, more so than it is about his job.
Yeah.
And I hope that he can somehow find peace in what he believes and what most people probably think is just a weak moment in a very public situation.
Right.
And I hope anyway that, Tony Romo's able to just one day get past it. And I hope that one day the general public is able to just give him a grace that he will one day have to earn back and earn people's trust again.
No, I think that's very well said. I mean, shoot, we live in a world where, you know what, everybody has a phone, everybody can record what you're doing. Everybody's watching, and
Mm-hmm.
again, this is first of all, you were a Dallas Cowboy. You were an undrafted Dallas Cowboy.
Yep.
You made your debut on Monday Night Football to take over from Drew Bledsoe, and
Yep.
and, and Phil Simms went to New York, so you could be in that booth. Do you know how privileged you are, Mr. Romo?
Yep. Well, that's the other side of it. And I don't know, I part of me feels sad. The other part of me is like you should have known better.
Right,
And I'm stuck in between the two.
right. He definitely was. I'm sorry for the yawning.
Yeah.
He definitely should have known better. No question. And again, my son, he didn't watch him play, but you hear these things, it's like, well, I actually talked to my kids about it, a DUI, and explain that to them.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, and it's kind of like it opens their eyes to it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So,
And as somebody that's lost a family member to DUI, I
mhm,
think I take extra um sensitivity to something like that.
right.
And it's a matter of it needs to be taken more seriously than it is.
Hmm.
Thankfully, there's a lot more awareness about it now than when it was when I lost a family member to it. But and then that goes back to what I'm saying. Like there's image rehabilitation, there's family rehabilitation that has to happen before you can even think about stepping in a broadcast booth.
Right.
And I guarantee you stepping into a broadcast booth is the furthest spot in his mind right now. The first thing is coming to peace with the mistakes that you made and trying to make amends for it.
Yep.
And that in itself can be a long process.
Yep. 100% it can be. It's Yeah, because that goes far beyond the world of sports, right? You're talking about the human being, the well-being, taking
You're
care of
talking about a
yourself.
human being, you're talking about the well being of multiple people involved.
Right.
So,
And you're just fortunate you didn't kill anyone either, right? So
yeah. Yeah.
that's That's the
but
other thing.
still, it's a serious matter, no matter which way you slice it.
Yeah, which I know our time is almost up, but
Yeah,
with the Jaden Dalkey situation in
yeah.
Saskatchewan, I'm the toxicology reports. I don't know if they're out yet, but
No,
yeah,
they,
that ain't good either.
yeah. And again, it's easy given the circumstances to put two and two together. I would caution putting two and two together before the facts are known.
That's fair. That's
Although it's pretty, although one could draw conclusions based on what we know, the ultimate fact of the matter is that we don't know. And I think that's the part that made me mad about the whole thing is certain things about the case came out, and right away people put two and two together.
right.
And it's sad. There's two people's lives that have been tragically cut short. A very talented football player, a very well loved and talented young man trying to make his life work in Regina, also lost his life, and that can't be forgotten.
Nope.
And
That's
if you want the Winnipeg example, there was news today, actually started coming out yesterday about Teddy Allen and what happened to him.
right.
Completely different circumstances, but it tells you that athletes are not immune to these real life situations. Now, news came out today from the Seabears that Teddy's not going to play in the playoff game on Thursday. My personal opinion is I don't believe that he'll play the rest of the season. Um, and again, like I don't know all the circumstances that led to that particular incident, but it just makes these incidents that we're talking about, like these circumstances. Yes, they're brought in about they're brought to us through sports, but it also needs to be said that the intersections and the parallels of sports in real life are all too familiar in these scenarios. And people look up to certain sporting icons, whether it's Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux and just a few other names. At the end of the day, it's a harsh reminder that at the pinnacle of their careers, people idolize and they wear people's jerseys. And I'll be the first to admit that, like, I'm a huge Brady Oliveira fan. I have his jersey this year,
I know you do.
but there's also people behind there. And the fact that, like, sports and life and these idols that we look up to, or these professional athletes that we aspire to look up to, are also people, human beings.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of the sensibility that when all is said and done, we need to remind ourselves like these are people. And I think another example, not to fall too far down the tracks, when an athlete has a really bad game, slamming them online. Like, I don't believe that that's necessary. I think that's a step too far.
Yep.
Um, they're people. And the first person that knows that they screwed up is
Is
that person.
That's right.
A real life example, yes, but a humanizing scenarios in multiple ways. And that's the intersection between life, sports, and athletes.
Which these things were not available to us 30 years ago.
Nope.
And the Jaden Dolkey thing happened. It was like, well, we read about it in the newspaper, and then
Mm-hmm.
Ed Robinson
Yep.
would tell us.
Yep.
And then they would maybe go to the Regina Reporter or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing on Twitter because Twitter wasn't there. It's just a different animal, right? Like,
It's like when you picked up that thing, the phone,
mhm,
anybody's subject to taking a video at any time.
right. And we saw there's video of Teddy Allen at the Palomino.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is circulating. This is this is crazy, right? And I
Yep.
mean, it's kind of silly to say this, but I mean, when Rodney King happened,
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to chuckle, but like that was fascinating that there was video evidence. But now it's just a click of a phone, and
Even I think about like the Bronco chase, OJ Simpson.
yeah, 94,
That's another example of like human situations.
right?
And just a reminder that these are people.
Yep.
And you know what we say, okay, X person needs to be fired or removed. At the end of the day, these are people doing a job and they get paid and they have families and they have livelihoods. They know that they're struggling. That doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell them.
Hmm.
They're the first ones to criticize themselves. But what I will say is, I think a little compassion and a little empathy also go a long way.
Yeah, no doubt. No,
And I
you're
think if we remember it in that realm, things will be a lot more positive. And I had a really good friend of mine tell me it's okay to be a fan. It's a problem when you become a fanatic.
yeah. And wow, that's there's a lot of truth there. No doubt, right? Yeah, yep. Because again, these
And you
people,
did agree to disagree with everything I've just said the last 20 minutes. That's fine. But that's just how I view it, having been around multiple
mhm.
athletes over my time.
Well, no, I mean, billeting for a hockey team, yeah, you know what? You're seeing them, they live with you, you see how they function, and
And
uh,
that's not even just at the professional level, that's at the
no,
local level.
right. That's at the local level, and yeah, that's exactly it.
And I've personally seen this, like players making mistakes and you talk to them after, and they're not literally, but they're figuratively beating themselves up over like, I knew better than to do that.
Right,
The first thing they know is I know better than to do that.
right. They're the ones
That
that
they
know.
they don't need hundreds of thousands of people to tell them that.
Right.
And maybe I'm a little bit of cynical about, oh yeah, yeah. Trust me, having been on both sides, and no, I've never been a professional athlete, don't get me wrong, but having been on the media side of it and the personal side of it, having been getting a glimpse of scenarios, I think I can get a pretty good idea. Just being a professional athlete, though, it magnifies it tenfold.
Yeah, because it's not just a newspaper; it's online, it's Facebook groups, etc. Right, and
And honestly,
yeah,
for those that don't know me that well, I have a physical disability and a hearing impairment. There are people behind their screens that will bully me about various things. It's in every walk of life, unfortunately.
yeah,
And you become a better person for it, but putting somebody down when they're particularly at their lowest is not smart.
no,
and we say, you know what, yes, this person needs to be fired, this person needs to be changed. But at the end of the day, they're just people. No different than me, no different than you.
No, that's exactly it, right? And again, if you're gonna fire him, who you replace him with? We've had
But
we've had
again, and coaches have told me this too. We know the position that we're put into. A coach once told me we're hired to be fired.
yeah,
That's that's part of our profession. That we did it. That's what we sign up for.
yeah,
You sign up for certain elements of your job that are interchangeable and that we love and that we hate. For being playing football and being a professional athlete is no different.
right.
So
I think it's good. I think I think the last hour and a half has been fantastic, Michael.
to that, we've kind of covered a lot of things.
Yeah, we have. I said, well, I wanted to hit on the CFL. You got the Jays. Did a bit of NFL. I talked to a lady at the bank. She's not on Facebook. I was there today,
Yep.
and she's like big into F1, and I was like, okay, well, they're Schumacher, and and then she goes Lewis. I'm like, okay, I better get with it here,
Yeah.
I mean, Villeneuve. And I said, well, there was the controversy in '97 when he won over Larry Walker, but she kind of chuckled. I have to be always on my toes, I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Controversy. What sports without a little controversy, right?
Yep. And with instant replay and everything else, sports does become a heightened point of conversations and
Uh,
controversy. There's no
I
way.
mean, think about it. Not to stray too far. Replays. All of a sudden, everybody that's watching turned into a referee, right? But
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
there's only one or two referees that actually matter, and
Hmm.
those are the two on the field or on the ice.
That's right.
Doesn't seem to matter, but that's why
Good
we love
deal.
it, right, Steve?
Pardon, sorry.
That's why we love it.
That's why we love it. That's why we always keep coming back.
Keeps
And,
it,
and I
keeps
again, yeah, I try not to yawn. I'm not sure what's going on today. I should have had more caffeine before the show, but it kind of has to sleep too.
uh,
But this has been good, Michael.
you think you'd
Fun.
have it down by now, right? Because your show is called Late Night with Smitty. Um, a lot of late night interviews, but no, I'm just budding you.
There's been
I'm
some
just
afternoon
budding
ones.
you.
Yeah. I know. It should be a lot better than this.
I'm just budding you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
You're bringing in a lot of cool guests lately. I'm so proud of you. I hope you know that.
You know what? I do know that you're proud of me, and yeah, I'll be honest. The Sid Sarah one was pretty good, along with Randy Ambrosio, and then there was Robert Gale, from the co-founder there for the Northern Super League. So
Yeah, that's gonna be a really good one.
yeah, so I mean, it's been quite the journey, and I'm trying to get a few more guests on. So
Keep on keeping on. I see it, buddy.
thank you so much, and we'll make sure to touch base at the Bomber game on the 14th. And here's to 5-4.
Just sound good. I hope
Good
it's
deal.
not lost.
Yeah, that's right. Alrighty. Good night, everyone, and God bless.